Oh my goodness, Dollar Tree has these adorable stocking gnomes this year, and I say run, don't walk to Dollar Tree, and let's make some DIY Christmas gnomes. I'll be making both the gray and the red, but I'll be using the red for instruction purposes. And be sure to watch to the end as Ned the red gnome and Newt the gray gnome come to life in their very own original adventure. You'll need 2 stockings for this project. One will be used for the gnome's body and face, and the other for the hat and shoes. I'll choose the best of the 2 for the body and face and set that aside. Then I will begin disassembling the other stocking. I'll first remove the beard by simply pulling it off the front, being careful not to tear the stocking underneath. If you happen to come upon a spot with particularly heavy glue, you can use scissors, but cut closer to where the back of the beard is. Continue to remove the beard across the top where it attaches to the trim, and use scissors to cut away the glue around the nose. Set the nose and beard aside, and now let's work on removing the trim. Use scissors to cut the trim along the side of the stocking at the seam. When you get to the top of the stocking, switch to clipping the threads that attach the trim to the stocking. Then gently pull it to remove the trim. Once on the other side of the stocking, use the scissors again and cut away the trim at the seam. Once the beard and trim are removed, you will have snags and pulls left behind on the material. So to fix this, I took a razor and gently ran it across the surface of the stocking and basically gave it a shave. This works really well to restore the stocking surface. However, I will still use the other side of the stocking to be the front of the hat. But I'll set that aside for now and return to the other stocking. For this one, I'm going to keep it completely intact, other than cutting across the bottom right above the heel where the foot part begins. Next, I will turn it inside out and then use some hot glue to seal it across the bottom. I then made sure there were not any holes or gaps in the glue and then turned it back right side out. For the weighted base, I'm going to be using some rice, and I placed 2 cups in a Ziploc bag and then removed the air and sealed the bag. I then placed the rice into the bottom of the gnome body. Next, I added some stuffing, and I like to use stuffing from old comforters or pillows for these projects. Now back to the second stocking, where I will again be cutting off the foot of the stocking. Next, I'm going to begin attaching the hat to the gnome, and I'm going to start by lining up the side seams of the 2 pieces and begin gluing there. And remember, I'm putting the side of the stocking that was shaved to the back. Then I will continue gluing the 2 pieces together across the front, putting one hand through the stocking at the top to help press the 2 pieces together. Once I finished attaching the hat at the front, I repeated the process on the back. Then once both pieces were fully attached, I began stuffing the gnome again from the top of the hat, pushing the stuffing down into the body of the gnome to make sure that the rim part of the hat was fully stuffed. However, once I get to the red part of the hat, I will be adding much less stuffing, just enough to give the hat a little structure, but not to completely fill it. To maintain the structure and create a more cone-shaped hat, I'm going to create little pleats as I glue the top of the hat shut. I'll start at the seam and then make little folds and then glue them into place using the hot glue. As I make the folds, I'm making sure that I'm pulling the hat taut as well as maintaining the desired shape. I'll then use the beard from the second stocking to create a pom-pom for the top of the hat. I put some hot glue along the bottom edge of the fur piece and began attaching it at the back of the hat, wrapping it around and reattaching it again at the back. I'll cut a smaller piece of the beard, roll it up, and glue it into the center to fill the space at the top. To make the gnome's shoes, I'm going to go back to that trim piece from the second stocking. I'll cut the trim in half to use each piece to make one shoe. You will again be working from the inside out, so you want to make sure the back side of the fabric is facing outwards. If you want to maintain the material's design, be aware of where you are placing the seam. Once I ensured the proper placement of my design, I refolded the material and rounded off the edge with some scissors. Next, I again used hot glue to seal the edges, and once the glue was dry, I turned the boots back right side out. Then when both shoes were made, I used a little stuffing to fill out the shoe. Next, I attached the shoes to the bottom of the gnome using hot glue. You could always add a decoration to the gnome's hat, and I always love these mini ornaments from Walmart. They have a great selection, and I use them extensively in my holiday crafts. They used to be $1.99 for 4, and now, with inflation, they're up to $2.68. But I think I'm going to leave old Ned the red gnome as is, and now go off camera to make his friend Newt the gnome out of the gray stocking. And now, here is Newt. I constructed him the same way as Ned the red gnome. Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. These gnomes stand about 22 inches tall and cost under $3 to make. They are a great addition to your holiday decor and also make a wonderful gift. And now, without further ado, you've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but are you ready for Gnome on the Roam? There's a gnome on the roam, and he's romping round your home, spreading whimsy and wonder. He may splash in the bath, or frolic on the path. Catching him would surely be a blunder. He may climb with a friend, fun and games never end, laughing with a boom of thunder. You may find him on a shelf, more stealth than the elf. We love his whimsy and wonder. Okay, I know, more crafting, less singing. That was just my daughter Nikki and I goofing around while crafting, and we thought we'd share. If you like this video, please check out one of these, and I promise, no more singing.